If you're running Google Ads campaigns now, this video could be about to save you a ton of wasted budget. Google has made a lot of changes over the past few years to their keyword match types, which could be absolutely sabotaging your results. So I'm going to be showing you exactly what you need to know about the new updated match types to get the best performance out of your campaign. There are also just some inherent flaws with certain keywords, which could end up in you wasting a ton of money driving the wrong kind of visitors to your website day in and day out. And I'm going to be showing you how to avoid these pitfalls so you can drive more targeted quality traffic to your site and therefore start getting more conversions from your campaigns. Okay, so one of the first things we need to talk about here is some of the changes that Google has made to their keyword match types over the past few years. I'm going to link to this Google article in the link below this video. I would highly recommend checking this out and make sure you familiarize yourself with how they are defining certain match types now. One of the most impactful changes they have made is to how they're now defining exact match keywords. So back in the day, exact match was, as the name suggests, if you put in a keyword and set it to exact match, Google will only show you for that keyword with very few exceptions, like if someone had plural or if it was a very, very common misspelling. However, they've now changed the definition here. So as you'll see, they're now saying it may show on searches that are the same meaning as your keyword. Now, the downside to this, as with any of these things that are kind of using AI or algorithms, Google can make mistakes and sometimes they can misinterpret the meaning of the keywords you've put in. So it's an easy mistake to make to think if you're bidding on an exact match keyword, Google is only going to show you for those search terms, but it simply isn't the case anymore. And we have seen this time and time again where this is absolutely costing businesses thousands in wasted budget. So one of the most important things you need to do is to not just monitor the keyword reports in Google Ads, but you need to be keeping a very, very close eye on your search terms in the Insights and Reports tab. So this is actually going to show you, and you can see here, this is a really good example of a campaign where this company is selling online fitness certifications. So this particular ad group has exact match keywords for online fitness certifications. But this is an example where Google has misinterpreted or misread the meaning, and they're actually also showing us for in-person certifications, which just isn't relevant for this particular campaign. So what you need to be doing here is keeping a very close eye on this and just adding any of these as negatives as they come in. And what you'll find is that over time, the algorithm will start learning and it will start showing you for much more closer matches. But you can see the difference here in that this is an exact match, whereas this one, it comes up as close variants, suggesting that Google has decided that this is still relevant and they think it's the same meaning. So you have to be very, very careful on monitoring these, even on exact match keywords, because this is something we see tripping a lot of businesses up, and it can cause a huge amount in wasted budget where you're just driving irrelevant traffic through to your website. Now, another very common mistake we see businesses making when it comes to Google Ads is not taking into account polysemic keywords. So these are basically phrases or search terms where they can have multiple different meanings, right? So, I mean, if we just take the word bank, for example, it could mean a bank as in a financial institution, but it could also mean a river bank. We just don't know what was being meant by the searcher in that instance. This can also have more nuanced connotations to it. So for example, let's say we've worked with some clients in the product design space, like product design agencies. So these days, back in the day, product design just meant creating physical products, the manufacture, the design of physical products. However, now more than ever, product design is actually being used in the context of software products, right? So if you're a product design agency that does typically what would have been known as what is known as also industrial design, where you're making physical products, you do have to bear in mind that a lot of the traffic coming through on that search term might actually be looking up product design for software products. So it's really important to be aware of the different meanings, the different connotations of those particular keywords that you are actually bidding on. This is exactly the same for terms like recruitment agency. So if you're running a recruitment agency and you're trying to attract, for example, companies, it can be quite difficult because a lot of the time, the search term that a company might be using could be exactly the same as what a candidate might be using, right? I could very easily type in recruitment agency as a business if I'm looking to employ staff. However, if I was looking for a job, I might also type in recruitment agency. So naturally, you have to think about and you have to ask yourself, are there other maybe longer tail variations of this keyword that we can bid on to make sure we are only getting the most relevant traffic coming through? So you really want to think about that. Maybe speak to some of your customers and maybe really think hard about, would they be using a different term? Would they maybe be searching for a slightly longer phrase that would indicate this person is actually looking for our services? One of the other things you can do here, if you are feeling doubtful or worried about some of the keywords that you're bidding on, is you can actually prove this out. So there are tools you can use like Survicate, for example. So Survicate, Survicate. I believe you can create free plans on there. There are lots of other tools you can use. So this is one we use called ConvertBox, where you can basically just create these survey widgets on your website to ask people, hey, which of these best describes you? So you see here, this is a client in the recruitment space that we've worked with here, and we've actually got some kind of multiple choice survey on here saying, hey, which best describes you? What are you looking for? So we're looking for full-time IT employees. We're looking for, we need IT augmentation services. We're looking for a managed services provider, or I'm looking for a job. I.e., this is just like a candidate who's looking for a job. And you can see here, like the vast majority of the traffic coming through has said they are looking for a job. So what you can start to do is you can use these and then test over time different keywords, different ad groups, and then monitor the stats to see which keyword is actually bringing you the cleanest traffic. Because for a lot of keywords out there, you are always going to get a mixed bag. For example, even people typing in digital marketing agency, inevitably we're going to get a lot of people who are searching on that who might just be looking for a job in a digital marketing agency. To an extent, this is, you're never going to be able to avoid that 100% of the time. However, what you want to do is you want to find over time the keywords and the search terms that bring you the cleanest traffic. So running survey widgets on your site and testing different keywords over time can help you to find, okay, this is bringing us much cleaner data or much cleaner traffic than this keyword. And you then keep a log of that and you just keep iterating over time until you have campaigns and ad groups with only the kind of highest intent, highest matching search terms that are actually bringing you the best quality traffic. And then just to finish on a final point here for something to think about is if you are finding that you are just getting some very, very mixed, watered down traffic coming through to your website where you're struggling to get the right people, sometimes it can be worth actually moving higher up in the funnel and targeting more informational, long tail search terms. So things like, for example, job description template. So that is a much more niche specific search term where a candidate is unlikely to be looking for a job description template because they're not writing the job description. They might be looking for a CV template or a resume template, but a job description template is going to be much more relevant to the actual employer themselves. So this is how you can start to get much more specific traffic through to the website by moving slightly higher up in the funnel and thinking about some of those very kind of longer tail keywords, so longer search terms, longer phrases where they kind of indicate something where you can then confidently say, okay, this is something that realistically only this segment of our audience would be searching for. And you can use this whether you work in the B2C space, whether you're working in B2B, you can apply this to pretty much any industry out there. So let's say, for example, you're a D2C brand selling some eco-friendly aluminium-free deodorant sticks, right? You could maybe even bid on search terms like, does deodorant contain aluminium, or what deodorant doesn't contain aluminium, or is deodorant bad for you, right? So there's more top of funnel searches that speak into your desired customer. So somebody who cares about the chemicals or certain ingredients within the products that you're selling. So they're an ideal customer for you. And you can then use those more longer tail search terms, more at the top of funnel, to bring those people in. And even if they don't buy on that first interaction, you can offer lead magnets through opt-ins. You can run retargeting campaigns to them so that when they are ready to buy, you're then far more likely to being able to convert them. So that's a couple of things you can do there to counteract the issue if you are just getting a lot of irrelevant traffic coming through to your website. Now, there is one other major thing that keeps a lot of businesses stuck from really taking their search campaigns to the next level, and that's driving traffic to poor quality landing pages on your website. So in this next video coming up, I'm going to be showing you how to optimize your landing pages and your website to make sure that you are maximizing your chances to get more conversions from your campaign. I'll see you there.